Hey there, Chad Boeninger here for Ohio University Libraries. If you're doing any sort of consumer research and you're trying to get information about consumers of brands or customers of particular products, things like that, you'll definitely want to check out MRI Simmons. This video shows you how to create a demographic and a psychographic profile of consumers of particular brands or product categories. It's a little bit complicated, so bear with me through this one, but it's a great resource to use for your consumer research. Here we go. All right, here we are on the Simmons, MRI Simmons Catalyst homepage. Now, there's a lot to look at here. It's a little bit overwhelming. For the purposes of this video, we're going to be creating a demographic profile and a psychographic profile of a particular consumer. And so that is up here under this profile, and we're going to click on Quick Reports right here. This takes us to this screen. See, we've got Quick Reports 2.0. We're now in the right space. I will point out that you'll see that the study is the 2023. We have the most recent up to 2 years ago data, right? So our data is 2 years old with our academic license, and that's about as good as we're going to get with our academic license, which is still pretty awesome, okay? So to get started here, we're going to click on Composer. And this is going to take us to this screen here, right? So our goal here is to find variables over here and then eventually get them over here to our target to analyze our target consumer, okay? So a couple different ways you can do this. For my example, I'm going to look at, beauty and personal care products. We'll just kind of look in that area. So if I search for Estee Lauder, looking for Estee Lauder products, here we see it brings up, all kinds of listings for Estee Lauder. So if we're looking at blusher for women, here's if people are a consumer of that brand. We can grab Estee Lauder here. We can click Add. It puts it in our shopping cart right here, and we can go over and drag this to our target. Or we can just select it and then click Targets, and that will put it in the same spot over here, all right? Once we're happy with that, we can go and click Create, and that will give us options to do that, all right? Now, the other thing we can look at here is to browse by category, all right? Now, I actually prefer to browse because it's sometimes if you search for things, it's only going to find the things you search for, and you're going to miss the things that might be relevant that you aren't searching for, okay? So I think there's going to be some stuff for beauty products in this health and beauty aid section. So if I click there, here we see we have all kinds of things. Here's where our blusher was previously for the previous search. If I scroll down, give you another example of a kind of a variable you have here in Simmons. Here's one for cologne for men. And let's look at amount spent in total for self in the last 12 months. So if I want to find demographics and psychographics of people who've bought cologne in the last 12 months of $250 or more, I can grab that, then drag it over to here, and then once again put that down here in our targets on the right-hand side. Once we have a number of variables here, we can click Create, and this takes us back to this screen here, and we can change. I'm going to select demographics here and psychographics. All right, and you can also change some of the colors here if you want to change this to a bluish, and we want to change this to, a purplish. We can do that as well, okay? Do all kinds of things to make this look different for you. So if we've got demographics and psychographics selected, we click Generate Reports. Now this is going to bring up an additional menu where we can select psychographics. You'll kind of have to play around with this. I found that for my particular search and doing some pre-searching, that the most relevant psychographic information for cologne and beauty products stuff was in this fashion and style attitudes, but there may be other things under shopping or self-concepts or things like that might be of interest to you when you're looking at this area. So play around with those to see what kind of things you get. We'll click on Add Reports here, and that's going to give us, here we're looking at people who've used health and beauty aids, blusher in the last 6 months. Look at their consumer. We have a demographic profile of those folks, all right? And what we see here is a breakdown by the percentage of people who answered the survey that says, yes, I use Estee Lauder products, right? So I'm kind of helping you learn how to read this right here. So of the people who used Estee Lauder products in the last 6 months, 13% were aged 45 to 54, 10% were aged 35 to 44, etc. Okay. What you also want to look at is this number over here on the right-hand side. That's an index. Okay. So this basically says of the people who are you can read this a few different ways. You can read this like other people who said they used Estee Lauder in the last 6 months. This is the index here, so you're going to count the 48 above 100. So they are 48 percentage points more likely than the rest of the survey population to be age 55 plus. Okay, so here we see that the people who are 55 plus are much more likely than the rest of the survey population to have used Estee Lauder products, right? So we tend to see that tends to the product categories tending to skew a little older there. Okay. So if we scroll down some more, we see all kinds of other information. Here we have demographics for men who bought cologne. Here we see that those people aged 25 to 34 right here, they make up 24% of the people from the survey who said I have spent $250 or more in the past 12 months on cologne. All right. We also see that the people who are aged 25 to 34, they are 38 percentage points more likely than the rest of the survey population to have bought cologne in excess of $250 or more during the year. Okay, so that's how you kind of read those indexes. All right. So basically the index kind of highlights like who is the top consumer, right, in that particular product category. Okay. Now, if we scroll down, here we are where we see psychographics here. And we see things like, I am content with my appearance. And as you look down here, you can see you can change this to any agree or disagree or whatever. And this basically kind of gives you those kind of psychographic concepts for people who are in this using these products. So here we see we have things like I typically use skincare products that contain sunscreen. I follow a strict skincare routine, all this kind of stuff. So these are all kind of things that would be interesting to someone who is researching this product category. Okay. So lots of good stuff here. You've got multiple options up here to export the content as well. The Excel export is really cool because not only does it give you this data, but it gives you a bunch of other additional data that was not in your initial search. So the Excel export is really quite robust as well. Hopefully this video gives you a better understanding of how to use MRI Simmons to research consumers and consumers of particular brands or those who engage in particular activities or buy particular products. I wish you the best of luck with your research. Take care.